Hey everybody, it's Spencer, Defense Training, defensetraining.org, Facebook/Defense Training. If you haven't given us a like, please do so, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. This is our next step in our Muscle Memory Monday building series. If you haven't saw the others, go check them out. And keep in mind that we're building this muscle memory building series on practicing at home alone so far. We'll bring in a partner here a few steps later. But we're going to bring you something totally different today from what we've been practicing, but go back and continue to practice what we went over. And again, remember your 4 cardinal safety rules. Always follow your safety rules. Always clear your firearms as well. Today I'm going to bring you failure to fire. What happens in a failure to fire of an attack? And I'm going to go over revolver first. With the revolver, again, clear and check your firearm. Revolver is clear. But the guy's attacking, and this is not technically close quarter revolver. It could be. But with a semi-automatic, we'll go over that here in a minute. Put your target maybe 10 foot away. Say maybe you've got a couple of seconds. You've got a split second of time that you might can clear your firearm. And we'll go over close quarter in another video. But with my clear firearm, I come up. Nothing happens. With a revolver, pull trigger again. A lot of you probably haven't thought about this. A lot of you probably haven't shot a firearm enough to know, oh, well, I can have a failure to fire. Why do we have failure to fires? Bad ammunition, bad primer, or a light strike with the firing pin from the firearm. So, if nothing happens, you need to continue pulling that trigger with the revolver until he stops. Alright, now that's either falling down or running away, etc., unless he just stops, puts his hands up. And go check out our rules of engagement video. But you're up, nothing, pull trigger, pull trigger, pull trigger, pull trigger. Now, once you get back around to that cartridge, that ammunition, the casing that didn't fire, more than likely a primer or a light strike, more than likely it will fire the second time. So if you've got a 6-shot revolver, you're probably still going to end up with 6 shots. I have a semi-automatic that has double strike capabilities, and 100% of the time it's fired on double strike. Now, I'm not saying it will always do that, and they've done a study that 93% of the time it will fire on double strike. So that double strike will typically fire it. But a revolver, if it doesn't fire, pull trigger again. Semi-automatic with double strike capabilities, and this may be one route that a lot of you might want to go. Again, clear and check your firearm. Empty magazine back in. And I suggest get some dummy rounds for this. It's a little bit easier because if you don't get dummy rounds, you're going to have to hold your slide lock down as you do this with striker fire only. But I'm going to go over double strike. What is a firearm that has double strike capabilities? That means that when I pull the trigger and nothing happens, it goes down into a double action mode, and I can just pull the trigger again. And on this model, it would just cock it and release it for me. To where it was cocked to begin with, I pull the trigger and nothing happened, it will cock and release, and it will strike that primer twice, double strike. And if you're not going to train tap and rack enough, or to where you think you're comfortable or proficient enough, double strike capability may be the route to go. I've actually went to the double strike firearm, and I love it. Mine has done it 100% of the time. And now I still train tap and rack just in case it fails on that second strike. But in all honesty, by the time you've pulled that second strike, this guy's going to be on you, so you're going to have to fight him and use this as a club or hammer to fight him off of you at that point. But if you're not going to train tap and rack, which I'm about to go over, the double strike capability firearm is a good choice. It is, and I know there's a lot of you out there that train and practice tap and rack all the time. You're like, you just need to tap and rack. That's fine, go for it. But there are those that may not have the ability to tap and rack either fast enough, or you may have weaker hands, or you may have arthritic hands, and you just may not be able to do it. So a revolver or a semi-automatic with double strike capability may be the way you need to go, because you may be more proficient, maybe more comfortable with it. So think about that. Now, if your firearm doesn't have double strike capabilities and you come up and nothing happens, you're going to have to do 2 steps. Tap this magazine in, because you might have hit this magazine release on your hip or wherever you're carrying, and you need to tap it back in. Now I need to rack it to clear the cartridge that was in there out and put a new cartridge in. Now I should be able to pull the trigger and it should fire. Again, if you tap and rack, if you're at a distance to where you can tap and rack and it still doesn't fire, whether it's another bad primer or whether it's the firing pin, something's going on, now you're going to have to fight this guy off of you. Now my tap and rack, this is a two-step process. Nothing, boom. And I'm going to be honest with you, once you come here, don't try to get this hand back here. Just boom, just let it fire. Because he's going to be right here. So pull that trigger and you may want to start moving. And I'm gonna go over stepping to the side here in another video. And there's some things you need to think about when stepping to the side. Now, the way I do it what we call a rib rack. I don't do tap and rack. What I do is I bring my firearm back and hit my rib. So when I hit my rib, I make sure my firearm is still pointed toward my target or my attacker. I've tapped the magazine back with my rib, and this hurts, I'm going to tell you. When you first start practicing it, you're going to come home with bruises if you're doing it right. You're going to hit it. As I'm coming back, I'm actually coming here, hit, rack, boom. Now some of them aren't going to be that easy. Some of them are going to be harder, especially if you haven't shot a lot of rounds and you haven't loosened that spring up a little bit. You're really going to have to really yank it back. So make sure you practice with your real firearm, unloaded, cleared, doing this. So I'm going to come here, hit, boom. And I'm also having to hold my slide release down, put dummy rounds, and you won't have to do that. You'll actually eject them and you know that you're doing it right. So here, as I'm coming here, boom. Here, boom. Here, here. Here, when you come, make sure that when I'm coming, I'm fanning my hand. I'm fanning, boom. And you need to make sure that when you're doing it, you come back, you're fanning, you hit. Now I'm actually starting to push with my thumb now, but I hit, I rack, I release, I fire. You don't want to pull this while you're here. If you're pulling it here, it's not going to do anything. So you're going to go here, boom. And make sure you're doing that properly and work on it. It's going to take some practice to figure out where your hand is. One thing you don't want to do is you don't want to click and you don't want to do this. You want to make sure that hand is sliding here, sliding here, here, hit it, here, hit it, here. And it's going to start hurting. I'm going to tell you now, so you may want to put a little pad under there or something to make sure you're not, if you don't want to bruise yourself. Personally, it doesn't bother me. You just have to bruise. Just another step in the defense of yourself. What if a failure happens? This is a failure to fire. What if a failure happens? And you need to practice this over and over and over. You need to get to the range and experience a failure to fire. And one thing you can do is have a partner at the range. You can have them load your magazines, but make sure they know what's going on. And say the first round fires, but the second round is a dud. It's a dummy round, and he can once it's click, he can say go 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 go. That means, hey, that's a dummy round. Now I can start clearing my firearm really fast. So I can clear it, and I can come back, or you can tap and rack, whichever one suits you best. But make sure you're training this. Make sure you're not caught, you're not click. Oh my goodness, what do I do? Make sure it's click, and you either pull the trigger or you tap and rack it, however you tap and rack it, whichever way you're more comfortable with. Again, this is just the next step, something to think about. Hopefully you can train, and this will help better prepare you for a defensive situation. This is Spencer with Defense Training. Stay safe, stay armed.